Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me online? Give me a 1 if you can hear me online. No audio still? You just see my mouth moving, just no audio? That's crazy. Mic check. Mic check. No audio. We good? All right, bet. Bet. All right, cool. All right. This Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Jury YAHANNA. It is Monday, the history class. We break down our culture line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. You understand? I mean, dog. 20 minutes of technical difficulties, man. I guess they don't want this lesson coming out. You understand? All right, so we just gonna jump right into it. All right, so where we left off scripturally, we were talking about the story of Abram. You know what I'm saying? He hadn't became Abraham yet, and we were in. Let's see, we finished 13, right? All right, so we're gonna start at Genesis 14 and 1. All right, well, you got to go ahead and read it. Matter of fact, get my Genesis 14 and 1. You got it? Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It shall come to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elazar, and Chadol Lamar, king of Elam.
All right, who are these people? Turn down
number 1.
Yeah, turn down the 1 just a little bit because it's feeding back. All right, so we had Genesis 14 and 1, right? So the scripture says, and it came to pass in the days of Araphel, king of Shinar, right? So first off, what is Shinar? Where is Shinar? What is Shinar? A lot is taking place in Shinar. We know Shinar is one of the sons of Shem. We know it was turned into a city, but Shinar popularly became a very famous city. Don't you raise your hand? Go ahead. What's your answer?
Egypt?
No, Shinar is not Egypt. You want to give it a shot, Sapar?
Of Shem.
Yeah, I said that already, but I'm saying, what city did Shinar become? Well, somebody online been paying attention in class. All right, Shaniqua Kozar, that is correct. Shinar used to be Babylon. Well, it was Babylon. Shinar became Babylon, right? Okay. So Nimrod basically went on the war path, conquering first off his land, the land of Ham. Then he invaded into the land of Shem on this popular map that I always bring up right here, to the land of Shinar. Okay. All right. So Shinar, all right, became Babylon. All right. So we're dealing with the Hamites. All right. So Araphel is the king of Shinar. So he's the king of modern day Babylon, right? So that's a Hamite. All right, what's the next person?
Arioch.
Arioch. Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
King of Elazar.
All right. So Elazar is another Hamite nation, another Canaanite nation. All right, keep reading.
Chedorlaomer, king of Elam.
King of Elam. Elam. You don't got to put the extra on there. Just king of Elam. All right. Okay. So who is Elam? I mean, I know Elam are the Elamites, but who is Elam? Like, what nation is Elam from? You don't know what nation Elam is from? You want to give it a shot? Hmm? Okay, India has not been founded yet. So in this time, all right, these are the descendants of Noah. So you're either a Hamite, a Japhite, or a Shemite. So what nation did Elam come from? That is correct. Get that brother a hand. All right. Okay. So Elam came from the nation of Shem, right? So you have 3 Hamites. Well, corrections gonna go into one more. You got 4 Hamites and 1 Shemite, right? Keep reading.
Entitled King of Nations.
All right. So this is the 4th Hamite. All right. Keep reading.
Verse 2. That these made war with Bera, king of Sodom.
That these did what?
Made war with Bera, king of Sodom.
All right. So pull Genesis 10 and 10 for me. All right. So we can get understanding of what Shaniqua Kozar said online, that Shinar, it became Babylon. It was conquered by Nimrod. Read that.
This is the book of Genesis in verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel,
Mm-hmm.
and Erech, and Akkad, and Chaldea, in the land of Shinar.
In the land of where?
Land of Shinar.
All right. So we know that Babylon is modern day Shinar, right? And it says in that these nations, all right. So we got Elam, who is a Shemite, right? And then we have these 4 Hamites. These nations, they made war with Bera, king of Sodom, all right, which is a Hamite nation, right? Bera, king of Gomorrah, right? Shinab, king of Adamah, and Shimbar, king of Zeboim. All right. So that we know how far that their nation stretched, give me Genesis 10 and 19. All right. So we know what is the land of the Canaanites. You got it?
Go
Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou cometh to Gerar, unto
right.
Gaza.
All right. So the kingdom of Canaan goes as far from where? What's the first place?
Sidon.
Saddam.
Saddam.
All right, like Sodom.
Kinda.
All right. Okay. But it's Saddam in the Hebrew. All right. So it goes all the way from Sodom. All right. Sodom and Gomorrah to where?
To Gaza.
To the Gaza Strip. Okay. So what's going on right now? It's a toss-up. Okay. Because the Babylon Empire has crumbled. All right. So it's a toss-up for control of the land of Ham. That, well, it's really not the land of Ham, it's the land of Shem, but the area that they conquered, right? They're trying to take over like the family that's been broken up, right? So Nimrod's not in power anymore, so it's a scramble for power right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a vacuum. So everybody's trying to feel that you gonna follow me. No, you gonna follow me. No, you gonna follow me. No, you gonna follow me, right? So there's a great war. You understand? But the war is due to one reason. All right. So all of these nations are supposed to be servants under Shem, right? So the first 4 nations that they name are confederate under Elam. Elam is a Shemite nation, right? He's ruling in sovereignty as he's supposed to. The 4 Canaanite nations that were mentioned with him, right, are in servants to them, right? So Elam is going after the rest of the land of his father's land, right? To bring Ham or the Canaanites under subjection. But the king of Sodom and Gomorrah is like, nah, we're not doing that, right? The king of Adamah, Shanab, he like, nah, we not doing that. You know what I'm saying? We've been ruling this far for this long. You understand? We not going backwards. All right. All right. So let's get back to the scripture. Matter of fact, give me no, keep reading verse 2.
Verse 2. Start from the top, sir.
Yeah, you cool. You can start from the top.
Come. The book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
That these made war with Bera, king of Sodom,
Mm-hmm.
and with Barash, king of Gomorrah.
Barah.
Barah?
There's no sure.
Bersha.
Barah.
Barah? Come.
So you got Barah, king of Sodom, and then you have Beersha, king of Gomorrah. Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
Shinab, king of Adam,
Mm-hmm.
Admah, and Shemimber, king of Zebulun, Zebulun, and the king of Bela, which is Zor.
All right, keep reading verse 3.
Verse 3. All these were joined together in the vale of Sedem,
Mm-hmm.
which is the sea salt. Slacky is the salt sea.
Mm-hmm. Verse 4.
Verse 4. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer.
All right. So for 12 years, everybody served Chedorlaomer. Chedorlaomer is the king of Elam. He is a Shemitic king. All of these other nations are Canaanite nations, right? And we know based off of the curse, matter of fact, give me the curse. Go to Genesis 9 and 26. Start at 9 and let's see. Start at 9 and 25.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9.
Start at 24.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 24. And Noah awoke from his wine,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew his young son had done
his younger son.
He knew what his younger son had done upon him.
Unto him.
Verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Cursed be Canaan."
Cursed be who?
Cursed be Canaan.
Cursed be who?
Cursed be Canaan.
Uh-huh.
A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren.
So because of what his father Ham did, looked upon his father's nakedness, his seed, his firstborn son, was cursed to be a servant unto his older brother and to the middle brother. All right. So he was cursed to be a servant of servants. Keep reading verse 26.
And he said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem."
The Lord God of Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
God of Shem.
You understand? He said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem." So the power of the Most High went from Noah to Shem, not Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Keep reading.
And Canaan shall be his servant.
You understand? And Canaan shall be a servant unto Shem. Right? So going back to Genesis 14 and 4, it says for 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and then on the 13th year they rebelled, right? So Elam, after the kingdom of Babylon fell, he basically took the rights back over of his family's land, right? Because by Shem's line's rights, we rule this land, right? Because we have the power and dominion of the Most High God. This land was given to us, and Canaan is supposed to be our servants, right? But they still had that same rebellious spirit that Nimrod had. You know, after a while, they was like, "I'm done." You know what I'm saying? Like, we tired of being servants. We tired of being slaves. We ain't no house-born slaves. But this is how it was set up. Okay? All right? So we got the reason why, and then also you got to remember Abraham's nephew Lot chose to move into this land in Genesis 13:10. Read that for me. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 13, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah,
Mm-hmm.
even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zor. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan.
All right. So understand, this is the same area, right? So in verse 2, it says that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, right? We know this is where the area that Lot is. Bereshir, the king of Gomorrah, Shinab, the king of Adama, Shimbir, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. This is the area that Lot chose to dwell in. So as soon as Lot moved into this land, war break out, right? What does that tell you? So when Lot dwelled with Abram, who would become Abraham, everything was good. But the moment that he chose to separate with Abraham, he went into a land that was riddled with war. What does that tell you? Go ahead, Safar. Make it more practical, right? So like, if you're in, like, prime example, right? If you're in the truth, what does that mean?
You follow the law, statutes, man.
Okay, so but what does that mean? I mean, what is it? What happens when you follow the law, statutes, and commandments?
You show that you love the Lord and you fear the Lord.
Okay, but what happens?
Or you be anointed. You have to love.
You become what? Say it on the mic.
You become blessed.
So what does it mean to be blessed?
Have the Lord's protection.
There you go. Right. So when you're blessed, right, and anointed, as you said, which all of these things are true, right? You have the Lord's protection, right? Now, when you leave that anointing, right, what happens?
You no longer have the Lord's protection.
So what happens?
Demons set upon you. Curses.
The wages of sin is what?
Death.
Death. You face death when you leave the covering of the Most High God, right? Abram was that covering, because remember, at the beginning of 12, he said to come out of your father's house, and I will make thee a great nation. I will bless those that bless you, and I will curse those that curse you, right? So the moment that Lot left from out under that covenant, because remember, when they went into Egypt, you know what I'm saying? Pharaoh rewarded Abram handsomely. You understand? He gave him manservants and maidservants, right? He gave them male he asses, she asses, oxen, you understand? So on and so forth. So he made Abram, who was already wealthy, exceedingly wealthy, right? And of course, he broke this down with his nephew Lot. You understand? So everywhere that Lot rolled with Abram, they was good. They were blessed. You understand? And they every time they moved, they were blessed more abundantly. They were blessed when they left Lot's father's land, which is Abram's brother, Haran. You understand? They have their own land. You understand? Go ahead, Sapar. Speaking to the mic. Not now, after class.
So like if I may, so the land that Abraham left, so were those people like the Cal, Cal, Chaldees? Were they like Elamites? Is they're like the same land that
They're
Abraham left?
Shemites. So Elamites are Shemites, right? So when he said leave the land of your fathers, so that whole area from the Chaldee or the Chaldeans, which is Mesopotamia, right? Which is modern day Turkey, right? The whole area of the shoreline of the Mediterranean Sea, all the way down to the border of the Arabian Peninsula, down by where the Persian Gulf is, which is modern day Sudan. All of that is the land of Shem, right? So on that map, I'm gonna put up on the screen. Let's see. Go to the map. Boop, 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 boop. All right. So on that map, and I'm gonna pull it up big on this side so I can see. History class, modern day post flood Babylon. Bam. All right. So on that map, you see the three lands. So you got the land of Shem, the land of Ham, and you got the land of Japheth at the top of the map, right? Okay. So unfortunately on this laptop that I'm on, I can't zoom in, so y'all just have to bear with me, those that are watching online, and just listen. All right. So on that border of that land, you got Hilka, you have Amek, you have Shalef, you have Harlap, you have Uzal, Seba. These are all sons of Shem, right? At the top, where Mesopotamia is, you have Haran, you have Shinar, you have Eber. Like, this is the land of Eber, where modern day Mesopotamia is, where the Persian Gulf is. So from the shorelines of the Mediterranean Sea, where the Red Sea is, or the Arabian Gulf and the Persian Gulf, all of that was the land of Shem, right? Coincidentally, this area is also known as something else. This is the Garden of Eden, right? This area is also known as something else. It is the land of Israel. It's the promised land, right? So everything has been a family matter, battling over the land that was given to Adam to have dominion over. Then it was given to Noah, because the covenant was made with him, right? That became his land, right? And then after the flood happened, he gave rulership over the fatness of that land to Shem, because he was the oldest born son and the power of God was given to him, right? So it passes the guard every single time. Now, to your question, right? When it said leave the land of your father's house, now that's a lot of fathers, right? I just named in the circumference of this area, I named every single son of Shem. Every single one of them had their own land, right? And then of their sons had a province in that land. All right. So Abram dwelled in the land of his brother, right, with his father, right? Because he left from Shinar in Mesopotamia. He left from Babylon because he was a city dweller, right? He left from there to go to the land that was his, that was allocated to his son, right? Okay, which is Abraham's brother. Okay, all right. Then they left from there to go further south, right? That land is supposed to be Shem's land, but it's occupied by Canaanites because Nimrod conquered the crescent of Africa, right? And the land of Shem, and then Japheth just fell in line, right? So this is where we are today. Okay. So, and man, I need to pull up some more maps. I'm gonna see if it's gonna let me share it on the screen. All right, so we know that Lot chose to move into this area because he's like, oh man, it got the finest valleys. Look at all this plush blue water. You understand? It's like Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, man, I'm gonna go over here, man. It look real good over here. But as soon as he separates from Abraham, he's in the middle of a war. You understand? So let's keep reading. Genesis 14:4.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14:4.
Mm-hmm.
12 years they served Chedorlaomer.
There you go.
And in the 13th year, they rebelled.
Mm-hmm.
5. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him.
All right. Now, again, got to keep in mind why they rebelled, because they were tired of being relegated to servantile work. You understand? But you can't choose who your father is. You can just make the best of it, right? Servants have it good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, not all like prime example, right? Daniel was a servant, right? In the Assyrian Empire, right? But Daniel was such an awesome servant, he got raised to one of the highest office in that land, right? Joseph got sold into slavery by his brothers, right? And the house he got sold into was a centurion for Pharaoh's army. He was such a good servant in that house. He was a number 2 in that house. The centurion's wife lied on him, said that he tried to force himself upon and rape her. He got put in prison, and then he got raised up from prison to the second highest office in the land. The only voice that overruled his was Pharaoh's voice. So he was the voice of Pharaoh, right? So there's nothing wrong with being a servant if you do your job correctly. We all got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be a ruler, but doesn't understand if you're the ruler, you're the greatest servant, right? Commanding General YAHANNA is the greatest servant in Israel. He has to make sure that everybody is good before he even is concerned or takes care of himself. He got to make sure that you got shelter, that you got shelter. You understand? That you got food to eat. You understand? That brothers across the world, not the nation in the United States, but the world are taken care of. That buildings rents are paid. That your personal rent is paid. That your car note is paid. Right? You understand? If you're a full-time priest, that you have stipends to help support your family, right? He's a full-time servant, but all you see is when he walk in the room, you know, everybody stand up, Shalom, YAHANNA, right? But there's a reason why there's honor due unto him, because he's the greatest servant. The reason why there's honor due unto Christ is because he's the greatest servant, right? Christ is the king of the nation of Israel. You understand? Commanding General YAHANNA is Christ's servant. You understand? The generals are the servants of Commanding General YAHANNA that is a servant under Christ. The captains are servants under the generals who are serving under Commanding General YAHANNA, who is a servant to Christ, who is a servant to the Most High. The officers are servants to the captains, who are servants to the generals, who are serving the Commanding General YAHANNA, who is a servant under Christ, who is a servant unto the Most High God. You understand? He who is the greatest servant is the person that has the authority, because he doesn't think about himself. He's not a jealous person. Even Abram, right? When it was a toil between his family and his servants and Lot's family and his servants, to appease the situation, he said, hey, Lot, look, from horizon to horizon, you choose where you want to go. I'll go in the opposite direction. He didn't say, I'm going to go here, you go here. He told him, you choose. Whatever you want, I'll take the seconds, because you're my nephew. You're the son of my brother. I'm going to make sure you straight. So whatever you want, I'll take what's left. So him being a servant unto Lot, because not only does he have to make sure that his family is straight, Lot is his family. He's his brother's son. He has to make sure his brother's line is able to continue going on, right? He said, okay, you want this plush land? Bam, go over there. I'm going to separate and go over there so it can be peace between us. That's what a ruler does. You understand? He takes the small amount and lets you have the greater so that you can be at peace. Yes, I can't even imagine how Commander General Yohanna does it. Like, I be around Captain Yatazak, you understand, for hours on end, day on end. His phone don't stop ringing, and he's a captain of 10,000. I can't even imagine Commander General Yohanna's phone. It gives me anxiety to think about it. You understand? The problems that he has to solve, it gives me anxiety. So imagine Christ, man. You understand? You want to have a power of an angel, but you don't even have the power to stop smoking weed. You don't even have the power to stop lying. You don't have the power to stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, but you want to rule a nation. No, the reason why you're a servant is because you can't control yourself. So let the men that have the power to control themselves better serve you and teach you how to serve yourself. That's all a ruler does. He makes sure that you don't destroy yourself, right? So that the family between Abram and Lot wouldn't destroy themselves, he's like, you choose. So this is where we are. All right, keep reading.
And the king, Salakia. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 5. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer.
There you go.
And the kings that were
Chedorlaomer.
And the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth, Carnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham.
The Zuzums in where?
In Ham.
Right? So this is all the land of Ham. Let me see if the Zuzums is on this map. Barely see it. They like right there on the other side of the Nile River, going towards the Jordan. All right. Okay. So he's rolling through from where he was around where the Dead Sea is, all the way down to like almost Egypt in the Nile River. You understand? Merkin boys, get out. Either you gonna get down or you gonna lay down. Either you gonna serve like you supposed to, or you gonna die. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? Elam was like, I'm coming for mine, and we gonna set it back to the way it's supposed to be. Right? Righteously. Right? Elam was on his, I'm a prince of Shem. You know what I'm saying? I'm royalty of a royal house of Shem. You understand? That would be just like Shinar, one of Shinar's sons, and the highest of Shinar's sons taking his right and taking back over Babylon. And making all of the Canaanites that were there subject under him. Because this is my father's land, and this is my father's father's land. This is the land that was given to me. And according to the pact that was made under the Most High God, when we were saved and there was 8 souls left, you're supposed to be my servant. Either you're going to get down and lay down. It's that simple. All right, keep reading.
And the Emims in Shavia, Corinthia. 6. And the Hortis in their Mount Seir.
The
The
Horites,
Horites in their Mount Seir.
Mount Seir.
Seir.
Mm-hmm.
Unto El Pera, which is by the
Wilderness. Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
7. And they returned and came to Mishpat, which
In Mishpat.
which is Kadesh,
Mm-hmm.
and smote all the countries of Amalekites. Amalekites.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Amorites that dwell in Hazazon Tamar.
Hazon Tamar. All right. So Chedorlaomer, he is on a war path to set the world back into its proper context and in the right order, right? So he's rolling through the land of Shem, and every Canaanite that's on that land, he's letting them know, you either gonna get down or you gonna lay down. Either you gonna serve willingly or you go on in the dirt. That's simple. Keep reading.
Verse 8. There went out the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah, the king of
Turn it down. Right here. On the bottom part right here. Yeah, turn it down. It's at 50. All right, well, keep that one and then turn the regular one down. There you go. Turn it. Yeah, don't be. There you go, brother. Boom. There you go. All right. Check. Boom. All right, go ahead, brother.
And there went out the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah and the king of Zeboim and the king of Bela, the same as Zor. And they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. Verse 9. With Chedorlaomer,
Chedorlaomer,
the king of Elam, with title king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5.
Okay, so now he didn't roll through the entire Gaza Strip, the area of the Dead Sea. That's a salt sea, right? It's the area of the Dead Sea, right? The reason why they call it the Dead Sea is because the water is so salty that nothing can live in there, right? You know, the buoyancy in your body, you just instantly float, right? He then ran through this whole area and shut it down. You understand? And what's crazy is the 4 other nations that were allied with him were his servants, right? They were Canaanite nations, which shows when you move according to your role, you covered. You understand? As long as you follow the law, statutes, commandments, because Ecclesiastes says, let us hear the whole matter. This is the conclusion, right? The whole duty of man is to serve God and keep his commandments, right? People ask, what's the meaning of life? To serve God and keep commandments. Well, man, that doesn't sound like a life. I gotta serve my entire life. Yeah. So you can live in paradise. So you don't die from cancer, right? You don't die from high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes. You understand? It's so that you can live on a plush land, right? Not surrounded by your enemies, right? We live on our land that's been conquered by our enemies, right? We are currently right now, we are prisoners of war, right? That's the reason why when you get a birth certificate, you understand, that birth certificate makes you a trustee of the state in which that you were born in, right? That driver's license that you have, it's the reason why police ask you for your license and registration, because your license allows you to operate as a trustee on this land, right? That's why your address is on your license, right? Well, your address says here you're a little bit far from home, boy. What you doing over here? Right? According to your license, you're supposed to operate in this province of the land. This is where you're supposed to be a trustee at. You're a little far from home. You understand? So, and then on top of that, it's a fictitious name at that. When you have that when you take on that, you're not a flesh and blood breathing man that follows the laws of God. You're a trustee of the estate that is beneficiary to the, in this case, the state of Texas. Right? You belong to the state. You are a ward of the state. That's why if say for instance, if you have a child and you're not legally married, you have no rights to the child, but the state does. Because the mother signed that birth certificate with that child's name, because this child is presumed to be whoever the name is on his birth certificate. And since you're not legally married and allowed to domicile with one another, you don't have rights to this child, right? And this child belongs to the estate of the state of Texas, right? That's how it goes, right? We're prisoners of war, right? But as long as you follow the rules as a prisoner of war, right? As long as you don't speed through a school zone, drive without a seatbelt, you understand? Jaywalk, you understand? Don't smoke in a non-smoking zone. The officers of the estate don't mess with you. You understand? These four kings of these Canaanite nations, right, were officers of the estate of Shem, right? The executor of the estate is the Most High God. He set up the state to where the power and rulership of the world goes to Shem, right? And everyone else are trustees, right? That's what it means to be a servant. You're a trustee. You're a worker in the estate, right? So these four trustees that rolled with the beneficiary of the estate, they were able to wipe out and kill, and nothing would happen to them in retribution because they were following the orders of the beneficiary of the estate. You understand? That's why when cops gun us down, there's no recourse, there's no repercussion, because they're enforcing the laws of the state or a state. Go ahead. All right, the Day of Atonement is tomorrow. So it starts at sundown tomorrow to Wednesday. All right, so no sweat. All right, let's get back to it. Read.
And the veil, verse 10, and the veil of Sodom was full of slim pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there. And they that remained fled into the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11, and they took all
Stop.
the good.
All right. So it said they fled into the slime pits, right? So where do these slime pits come from? Does anybody know what these slime pits are? You don't?
Quicksand.
No. Ooh-wee. 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 For what? The bricks for the mortar for what? Not the pyramids to build what? I'll give you one more guess. Because think of the time that we're in. What recently got built? Yeah, so but the Tower of Babel was the first pyramid. You are correct, right? But I wanted you to be specific, all right? So let's get that precept. Give me Genesis 11:3. Raise your hand, brother. Yeah, but the Day of Atonement starts tomorrow, right? Right. It said October 4th. So October 4th at sundown. Right. There you go. All right. You got it, brother?
Come. I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. And they
Genesis
said,
11 and 3.
Genesis 11 and 3. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
And slime for the what?
For the mortar.
You understand? So not only they built the Tower of Babel, they built the city of Babylon, right? So you would imagine them slime pits was pretty vast, right? Sapar, you had a question? Tar. Yeah, it's a tar pit. Yeah, it's tar. Right. So, I mean, prime example today, tar is used to repair roads. Right? So if there's like crack in the road, or if there's a like not a crazy pothole, but a small pothole, they'll put tar in there with a hardening agent to fix it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So tar is the original mortar. And you know when tar been put down, when that heat come out, you can smell it. It has a very distinct smell, right? So if they rolling through the tar pits, boy, it does not smell good there. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, you feel me? All right, so let's go back to the Genesis 14 and 11.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And it took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way.
What is a victual?
Goods from like a war.
But what type of goods?
Spoils.
There you go. Get that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? So they raided Sodom and Gomorrah, and they took all the goods, man. As the pirates call it, the booty. They looted the booty. You understand? They stole not only people, you understand, garments, silver, gold, livestock. They raided everything of worth for trade. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 12. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
All right, so like I said, all right, so why was Lot, because I was about to say it, that would give away the answer. Why was Lot able to be taken away as a slave? Because he was taken away with his goods. Why was Lot able to be taken away? We literally just said this. See who paying attention? Huh? No. Why was Lot able to be taken away?
Because it wasn't him.
No. Sapar? What's the difference between Abraham and Lot? You said what? Okay. So what does that mean? Ain't Lot Abraham's nephew? Sapar? There you go, right? Because when Lot dwelled with Abram, right, he was under the protection and the covering of the Most High because Abram had the blessing. When he was with Abram, he became wealthier and richer than he could possibly imagine. He had more man servants and maid servants and livestock than he knew what to do with because he was rolling with his uncle, and he served his uncle. He loved his uncle. The moment that he departed from his uncle, everything that was given to him because he followed his uncle was taken from him, and he was relegated to a slave. That's how it goes. You understand? You come into this truth, you clean up your life, you understand? You lose everything coming into this truth, right? If you have a wife, you might lose her. You have a job, you might lose your job. You might lose your car. You might lose your apartment. But you get that back and then some following the Lord, right? So when you're in the world and you're following the world, you get the rewards of the world. You leave the world, you lose everything that the world came with. But you get everything the Lord comes with. So you get a wife of the Lord, right? You get a job that is of the Lord. You get a home that's given to you that's of the Lord. You get children that's given to you that's of the Lord, right? Now, you leave the truth, what you think gonna happen? All that's gonna be gone. It's gonna be taken from you, right? So you can't think when you come out of the world, the things that you ascertain in the world, and you come to the Lord, that you're gonna be able to keep that. You understand? It's soiled with blood money, right? It's a sinful soiled rag. It can't have no place in a house without blemish, right? So you in a house without blemish now, and then you leave to go out into a world that's soiled. Those perfect things are not going to leave this house without blemish. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like somebody privileged leaving their house in River Oaks to go to Acres Homes. It's like, why? I'm not going there. Why would I go there? It's dirty there. The people there are poor, right? That's basically how it is, right? So the moment that you leave the covering of the Lord, everything that was given to you because of the Lord, it will be taken from you. You understand? That's why when people leave the truth and you see them years later, like, man, brother, what happened to you? The world beating him up because he got to get dirty again in order to succeed. But the thing is, once you know the truth, there is no more remissions for your sin. There's only judgment. So you gonna get torn up by the Most High. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 13. And there came out that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre and Amorite.
So why was Abram called a Hebrew? Anybody know? I got enough room to... Yeah, turn to the board. See if it's gonna let me do it. Yeah, boom. All right. So why was Abraham called a Hebrew?
He was the son of Abram.
He was the son of what?
He's related to Ebri.
To who?
Ebri?
To Eber?
Oh, yeah, Ebri.
But what does that have to do with being called a Hebrew? Give me the other mic, support. Check. All right. What does that have to do with him? What does that have to do with him being called Hebrew? Him being a descendant, a grandson of Eber. What does that have to do with him? I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying if you're gonna answer a question, you gotta know the reason why. So what's the reason why? What is significant about Eber?
He was different.
All right. This is why knowing the language is important. Okay. All right. What is Hebrew in Hebrew?
Oh,
No. All right. All right. So the word Hebrew, you want to look it up, is H680. H680. All right. And that word is all right. It's a different color. Doo-doo-doo. All right. That word is I-R-Ya. All right. So what does Ibaria mean? This word have a prefix, a suffix, or both? Come on, my Hebrew class students. As a suffix, what's a suffix?
Yeah.
Means it's what?
Yeah.
What does ya mean?
my,
It means what?
my.
My. All right. My is in possessive. All right. Ibar is ever. In Hebrew. All right. So Ibaria means of possession of ever. All right. He's an Everite. That's what Hebrew is. Right. You got a Hebrew means an Everite, like a Canaanite, like an Elamite, like a Japhite. You understand? You are a descendant of Eber. Yeah.
Descendant from.
No, that has nothing to do with being a descendant of the promise. Right? This literally means that you are of the line of Eber from Shem. All right? So Eber had two sons, right? Abram, right? And Haran, right? Haran is Lot's father. Okay? So they all left their father's land, which is Mesopotamia, and sojourned into the land of Canaan, right? The land of Canaan, coincidentally, is the land of Shem. They took it. Okay? All right? So Ibaria, right, is an Eberite. Okay? All right, it means my Eber. It means of Eber. It's of possession of Eber. All right? Okay? So this is why Abraham was called a Hebrew. Right? Because he belonged to Eber. Right? And Eber means from beyond. Right? Because they came from Mesopotamia. All right? Take it back. All right. We're going to be going back to, what's your question?
So Mesopotamia was found by Eber.
No, Mesopotamia was not founded by Eber, right? So go ahead.
So,
Well, wait. Let me answer this question first. All right. So, what's the land of Shem?
Canaan. Oh,
Canaan would be a Hamite.
I was gonna say the land that was taken by the Canaanites.
That is correct. But what land is that?
Mesopotamia, the Promised Land, the Garden of Eden,
Okay, but what land is that today?
Israel.
Well, Israel is a state today. I'm saying what land, like, literally, like what frames out that land currently. All right, so it's the land that's framed out by the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean Sea, right, the Arabian Gulf, and the Nile River.
You said the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean.
Yeah, the area that's basically it's the Arabian Peninsula. It's the land from where the state of it. So from the Mediterranean Sea to modern day Sudan, all the way up to Turkey, right? Which is where Mesopotamia was. Okay, so it's framed out by the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean Sea, right? The Arabian Gulf, which used to be called the Red Sea, right? And the Nile River, right? So from east of the Nile River up to Mesopotamia, right? Which is adjacent to the Persian Gulf. Okay. For those that are online, so you can see what I'm saying, I'll pull it up. You can see it on this map right here, right? So you see the Mediterranean, you see the Red Sea, which is also called the Arabian Gulf. All right, and then and the Gulf of Aden is also framed out by the Gulf of Aden, and then the Persian Gulf, and the Mediterranean Sea. All right, and Mesopotamia is the area of the Tigris and the Euphrates, which is also one of the rivers that's called out in Genesis. Right, the 4 rivers that frame the Garden of Eden. I believe it's like the Python. Let me see which one it is. I gotta scroll all.
Mesopotamia is the area of the Tigris
and Euphrates. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. I'm about to tell you right now. Boop, 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 boop. I don't have it on here. I could have sworn I had it on here. It's in one of my binders. I know I brought it out in class. But yeah. So though all of those bodies of water, the Tigris, Euphrates, the literal Tigris is one of the rivers that's mentioned in Genesis 1, right? So the Tigris and the Euphrates, the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Gulf, which is also known as the Red Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River are the rivers that is talking about that frame the Garden of Eden in the Bible. All right. Okay. All right. Back to it. So I think we stopped at 14 and we stop at 14 and 13. All right. So now we know why he called Abram a Hebrew, right? He called him Abaria, right? That he is of the possession of Eber, right? Eber in Hebrew literally translates to from beyond, right? So they're from beyond they're from the edge of Shem and Japheth, right? So they're from the edge of the land of Shem, right? Where Mesopotamia is. They are from beyond, right? They are from beyond the area which is the crescent of civilization. They are right on the edge of it. So they north side us. You understand? They from the mountains. Go ahead.
Right. So would it be safe to say that the Chaldeans would be considered as Hebrews?
No, that's not. They're Chaldeans. They're not descendants of Eber. So like the Chaldeans, the people that you can say that are like Chaldeans, like the original people, like the descendants of Shinar, Let's see who else. The Mali, the the Goshenites. Looking on this map. But yeah, more specifically, yeah, like that area of like Shinar, like those are like the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans are the Babylonians.
So like people that use like ancient groups, think some of them like migrated to Europe before the
We're nowhere even close to that time, right? So like you gotta understand, we're between the Babylonian Empire and the Assyrian Empire. That's where we are right now in history, right? So the entire world is black. Right, there's no white people on the face of the earth right now. It ain't nothing but copper colored people on the face of the earth and darker. You know what I'm saying? They from cast iron skillet black to a penny or sand on the beach. You know what I'm saying? It's all nothing but you know, as the conscious people say, melanated people on the face of the earth right now. So ain't no white people. Okay, so what you have to understand is in antiquity, the what's Alexander's father? Yeah, the Macedonians, right? So the Macedonians is the beginning of the Greek Empire. It's the first white nation.
You said what?
The Macedonians, right? That's the beginning of the Greek Empire, right? So, like you said, Philip II, which is Alexander the Great's father, the first great white hope. Yep.
So basically, about this time, there was like really no bigger migration.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, because like Abram and his father and his brother and his son, that was a major migration. Because remember, they left from Babylon, Shinar, all right? They went to Haran, right? Which is north of Mesopotamia. Then they went south to Bethel all the way to Egypt. So people are nomadic, and our people are naturally nomadic people, right? We get that from Eber and Abram. We're nomadic people, right? And that's how, and what's crazy is the Native Americans, they kept to that tradition, right? We own all of this land, so we're going to be nomadic on the entire land. We just not gonna stay here. You know what I'm saying? We might be on this part of the land during the summertime, but in the winter, we gonna go south on our land because it's warmer down there, right? We're not gonna be far north, right? So we're nomadic people. We live in harmony with the land, right? Go ahead. Everybody travel. Everybody either travel based. Everything is based off of the times. All right. So remember, in Genesis 1, he made the heavens, the major lights and the minor lights, the sun, the moon, and the stars for the telling of time and seasons. Right. So everything is done according to season. Right. You wouldn't plant in winter. Right. You would plant in spring. Right? So you have 3 seasons to gain multiple harvests, right? So everything is done according to time, right? So like the reason why they left from Haran and went all the way past Bethel to Egypt because it was a famine in the land, right? In Egypt, you know, they had storehouse. They heard they had food and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, well, cool. We gonna roll down to Egypt so we can make it past this quarantine. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is holding on to whatever they have because water is scarce. So if water is scarce, crops are scarce, right? If crops are scarce, that means livestock is dying. Livestock is scarce, right? So this is the reason why they left and went down into Egypt, because it was a famine in the land. All right, so let's keep reading. So now we know, we at 13. So now we know why Abram was called a Hebrew, because he is of the line of Eber. From beyond. That's what Eber means, from beyond. A sojourner. It's also another one of the definitions of Eber. All right. Keep reading verse 13. At least give it to him to read. If you taking notes.
Verse 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram.
All right. Now, what nation are the Amorites from? Anybody? What nation is the land? What nation are the Amorites from? From where? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Don't look for me to approve your guess. Raise your hand. Give a response, and if it's right, I'll tell you if it's right. If it's wrong, I'm gonna say you're wrong. All right. That is correct. Get that brother hand. You know what I'm saying? All right. The Amorites are Hamites, right? And it said that they were what with Abram? They were confederate, right? So they were in alliance, right? Abram knew his place in the land. The Hamites knew their place in the land, right? Okay? So they were confederate, all right? They worked together on the land. Just like those four Canaanite nations worked with the king of the Elamites, right? Because they knew their role. Okay? All right? When you know your role, you can live in harmony, you can live in peace. All right? They knew that this was his land anyway, so they dwelled with him. All right? They was cool. Okay? Keep reading.
Verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants.
So, okay, so what verse you at 14?
Con, I don't want.
All right, so all right, keep reading. Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning, verse 14.
Verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318.
All right, so the first question I have: who are the trained men that were born in his house? Okay, but who are they? From where?
From Egypt.
Okay, and who else?
From the ones that was from Lot also.
No, the ones that were with Lot left with Lot. They got captured. All right. So you are right. It is the bondmen. Well, it wasn't the maid servants, right? Because men don't take women to war, right? So it was the male servants that he got from Egypt, right? But who else? Go to Genesis 12 and 5. Read it. Read what does Genesis 12:5 say?
Genesis
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 12, verse 5. And Abram took Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran.
And the what that they had gotten in Haran?
And the souls that they had gotten in Haran.
So they had people from their family as well, right? So remember, Abram and Lot, they come from their royalty, right? They not some nomadic beggars, right? They are the heads of their tribe of Eber, right? And they're coming from Abram's brother's land. Okay? So not only did Abram, his wife, right? Lot, his wife, and Lot's son, right? But it says the souls that they brought with them too. So they brought servants from their land, their kinsmen, right? Now their kinsmen aren't mentioned because just like in each generation, they named the prominent people. They said, you know, and Enoch had sons and daughters, right? And then he begot Methuselah, right? It don't tell you who the sons and daughters are, but it tells you about Methuselah because Methuselah is a person of importance in going down the family tree to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go ahead.
So basically, brother, Abraham, just like you just mentioned, like how Christianity, the program showed them that people in the desert with camels, and these brothers were
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, the scripture said that Sarah, she ain't Sarah yet. Sarah was so fine. They ain't never seen nobody like her in Egypt. It was like, ooh wee, who is this? You know, I mean, it is an unfortunate thing, but you know, most brothers of means get beautiful women. It's just a fact of nature. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got means with your hands, you know what I'm saying, or you got means to get fatty in them hands. You feel me? Either or, a man of means, they get the beautiful women. It just is what it is. Women are attracted to men that are secure. They're attracted to security. Abram was secure, very secure, right? You know what I'm saying? So this should tell you, you know what I'm saying, the type of people that we're dealing with. Okay? All right? And you asked me another question, Nike?
I was I forgot the question before, but I was gonna ask who was ruling over the land of Canaan at the time.
You got so at the beginning of the chapter, you got 8 rulers that are going to war. So Nimrod is gone. All right. The nations have been separated, given different tongues. Right. So in these different nations with different tongues, you got rulers. You got rulers over the Amorites. You got rulers over the Elamites. You got rulers over the Amalekites. You got rulers over the Hagarenes. You got rulers over the Zorites. You know what I'm saying? You got rulers over Sodom, rulers over Gomorrah, right? So everybody it's a so whenever a supreme emperor dies or his empire crumbles, there's a vacuum for power, right? And it's a war amongst the generals under this emperor to see who's going to be the next supreme emperor, right? So that's what's happening. You understand? What's your boy, Shalalamir? You know what I'm saying? He's trying to be the next top HNIC, head nigga in charge. You know what I'm saying? That is what this campaign is for, is to set the house of Shem back in order the way it was and put Ham and Canaan back in a servantile place or back on their own land or underfoot in the dirt. Okay? All right? So, keep reading. Oh, hold on. I got another question. All right. So, why did Abram, he said when he heard that his brother was in peril, right? Why did he call Lot his brother? It's even more practical than that. This is how you know that these are our ancestors. We're the only people on the face of this earth that refer to each other as brother and sister. We're the only people. This is going all the way back to Abram. You understand? In verse 14, it said, when Abram heard that his brother was taken. You understand? Like prime example, right? Like when I be talking to my old man, you know, and like I crack a joke, he be like, brother, boy, you ain't nothing slick to a can of oil, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm my dad's son, but he'll call me brother sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Because we're the only people that refer to ourselves as brother and sister. This is how you know that this is your people. Nobody else on the earth refers to themselves as brother. We refer to ourselves so much as brother that the other nations call us brother. I mean, in my line, you go to the corner store with Akbar, he be like, you need anything else, brother? Because that's how we refer to ourselves. That's how the other nations know us. They know who we are. All right. So the reason why he referred to him as brother is because the same reason why I say it to you, the same reason my dad said he's a kinsman according to the flesh. Right? Okay. And he said when he heard that his brother was taken up and armed, and he took his trained servants, born in his house 380 men, right? So why would he do that? That's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people. And it's just the men. You know what I'm saying? It's not the women servants. It's just the men that's trained. So, you know, it's probably some boys and stuff like that still in the house. These are just the servants that's trained in war, trained in these hands. Go ahead, Sapar. You talking about the story of Gideon? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right. I mean, but what he always takes the few. He wants you to be the underdog. Right? With Gideon, he dwindled from 10,000 to 300. Right? That he took to war so that the Lord can get the glory. You know what I'm saying? 300 men went to war and wiped out an entire army. Damn. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But why did he take his servants? Why? Because, I mean, Lot chose to go out there on his own. He chose to separate. Why would he go and get them? Go ahead, Spar. Nike, give me John 15 and 13. You are absolutely right, Sapar. Let's get Christ's words on the matter. Let's get Christ's words on the matter. Give me John 15 and 13. What that say?
John chapter 15, verse 13. Greater love have no man than this,
Can I get some more water?
that a man lay down his life for his friends.
That what version are you reading, brother? Is that
KJV.
That can't be the KJV. Yeah, that can't be the KJV. It should say brother. That can't be the KJV. Huh? Let's see. John I say? 15 to 13. Oh, that because it's also in Luke. All right, but yeah, but there's no greater thing that a man can do than to lay down his life for his brother. You know what I'm saying? So let's see, John. Boom, 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 boom. You understand? So that's why he did it. There's no greater thing that you can do. There's no greater sacrifice to be praised for, right? Than to lay down, than to put your life on the line for your brother. There's no greater thing that you can do. All right. Also, give me First John 3:16, the book of First John, right before the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 16. Read that for me. The book of First John, chapter 3, verse 16.
First John chapter 3, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Hereby perceive we love of God. Hereby perceive we the love of God.
Gotta listen. Start over.
Hereby perceive we the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
Because he laid down his life for us. And
because of what?
Because he laid down his life for us.
Right? It's not enough for you to tell me that you love me. You want to know how I know you love me? When I'm moving out my apartment, you help me pack up, right? And you help me move into my new spot, right? You want to know how I know you love me? When my car breaks down on the side of the road and I got a flat but no spare, you pull up with some fix a flat and a tire plug so that I can make it to the tire shop tomorrow, right? You want to know how I know that you love me? You know what I'm saying? When I'm sick, come visit me. You come bring me food. Make sure I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? It's by you sacrificing your life. That is the only thing of value is time. You giving up your time in your life in Christ's sake. It was his entire life for all of our sake. You understand? So we follow Christ's example. Christ is following Abram's example, Moses' example, Elijah's example, Obadiah's example. Obadiah hid 50 priests and prophets of the Lord in a cave, in 2 caves, so that the name of the Lord would not be wiped out from under the earth. He put his life on the line. And he went out while they were in the cave, so he would bring rations to them. And one time while he went out, he ran into the prophet Elijah. And then they built the kingdom back up. Elijah put his life on the line. He went alone in front of, I want to say, 300 prophets of Baal. He stood by himself, one prophet of the Lord against 300 prophets of Baal. And rained down fire from heaven. And then after he proved that our God is real and their God isn't, he murked them all. You got to be willing to put your life on the line. That's how the Lord knows that you love him. Because there's no greater sacrifice that you can do to show the Father that you love him than to sacrifice your life. Sacrifice your comforts of smoking weed and eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster to show yourself a presentable sacrifice unto the Lord that you love him more than you love yourself. That's why Abram did that. All right, let's get back to it. Genesis 14. So yeah, end of 14 and 14. Born in this house, he took 318 and pursued them unto Dan. Right? I can't pull the map up because for some reason the technology tripping today. But so just so you have an idea of where he left from, right? He left from what would be the area around where Jerusalem is and chased them to above the Dead Sea. So if you got a map, if you look at a biblical map during the biblical time of Christ or of Abram, that's a long way out. That's like it's like driving from here to Dallas. He chased them for like 188 miles, almost 200 miles. You know what I'm saying? On horseback. 200 miles for his nephew and all the slaves and all of his possessions, all of that. He left his home. He was already behind them. He caught up with them 200 miles down the line in Dan, right? When they was going back north towards Shinar, right? Where the land of Elam is. Okay? All right? Keep reading. Verse 15.
Verse 15. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them.
What does it mean to smote them?
To kill.
To kill. You know what I'm saying? Boy, them swords was bloody. You understand? He divided them. He divided his team of 300, how many? 318. You know what I'm saying? So that's what? 318. Let's see, 150, 159. 159. We gonna come up on the front. The other two, y'all gonna flank them. You know what I'm saying? So this is how you know that they were trained in war. He split up his forces. One came up on them head first. You understand? The other one came around them to flank them from the rear in their perimeter. These boys trained in war. You understand? So just in case you know what that means, that's like if I'm planning to rob you at your car, I'm gonna come up behind you with a bat. I'm gonna break the rear view light. You know what I'm saying? The rear light, the tail light. You know what I'm saying? To get you to focus on me. Like, man, what you doing? And I got two homeboys coming up from behind you, putting a gun on you. Yeah, what's happening? You know what time it is. And you gonna have it look. Yeah, you just got. They trained in the art of war. That's how you know. That's how niggas in the hood at. You feel me? Keep reading. Matter of fact, give me a precept. Give me Isaiah 41:1. That'll give you more detail about what happened just now. Isaiah 41:1. You're gonna read 1 through 4.
Isaiah 41:1. Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near, then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment.
You're gonna read to 4. Verse 4.
Verse 2. Who raised up the righteous man from the east?
Who is the righteous man from the east? Anybody know? Who the righteous man from the east?
Right.
Nah. This ain't talking about Christ. It's talking about Abram. Mesopotamia is the east. It's northeast. It's the east. Right? All right. He rose. Who rose up the righteous man from the east? The Lord. Keep reading.
Who raised up the righteous man from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made him rule over kings.
You understand? He came up on them 200 miles down the line, men on foot and on horses. You understand? And he subdued kings, 4 kings to be exact, 4 kings of Canaanite nations and 1 king of the nation of his forefathers. So, hey, bro, you done messed up, partner. You know what I'm saying? You done took one of your own. That's royalty. That's blood for blood. You can kidnap the wrong one, homeboy. We family, but shoot. Gotta go. Because I'm the chosen. I'm the real ruler of our family line. You know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Gave the nations before him and made him rule over kings. He gave them as the dust to his sword. And
he gave them as the what?
Dust to his sword.
What that mean?
It was a lot that was.
Exactly. He gave them as dust to his sword. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you was in the military, right? You know how dusty your boots get when you be out there? Yeah, that's how many people he killed. The dust on your boots. The dust on your sword. You know what I'm saying? That's how many people Abram had to kill. He killed the armies of 3 Canaanite kings and a king of the Elamites. That's 4 armies, bro. 318 people killed 4 armies. And it didn't say he lost 1 man. That's what happens when the Lord is with you. Keep reading. It's going to tell you.
And as driven stubble to his bow.
Say that one more time. Read it again.
And as driven stubble to his bow. Verse 3, he pursued them and passed safely, even by the way that he had not gone with his feet.
You understand? Because he pursued them on to Dan, right? That's not the area that he had went to before, right? It's not an area that he had passed before. All for his family, his kinsmen according to the flesh. He sacrificed his life for his family. That's what Christ did. That's what you ought to do. Keep reading.
Verse 4, who have wrought and done it, calling generations from the beginning. I the Lord, the first and with the last. I am he.
You know what I'm saying? So the Lord was with the first, with Adam, and he's with the last Adam, Christ. And through Christ, he is with us. All right, let's go back to 14. All right, finish reading 15.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 15. And pursued them to Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus.
That's how you know Damascus. Like, Damascus is one of the original cities of the world. Paul, you know what I'm saying, met Christ on the road to Damascus. Like 4 empires later. You know what I'm saying? Like Damascus being from the Babylons, the Persians, and the Medes, the Assyrians, the Greco, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? That's how long Damascus has been around. And now Damascus is still here. Keep reading. Verse 16.
Verse 16. He brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
So he brought back all the goods. So every kingdom that they plundered and looted, he took everything that they took. He took all the people back that they took, including his nephew Lot, with 318 people in 2 ranks of 159. It's a bad man because the Lord was with him. You understand? He wasn't no coward. He didn't make no excuse. When he got word that his family was taken, he moved. You know what I'm saying? Just like when Captain Yaltazar got word of what was happening down in Acuna, Mexico, with the Haitians, we moved. You know what I'm saying? We're not cowards, we don't come from a line of cowards. We come from a line of doers. Anybody threatens our family, we spring into action. We do. We fight. That's the whole reason why you go through your training. That's why you go through Hebrew Academy. That's why you become a man of war. Not only to protect your family, but to protect your brother. All right, keep reading.
Verse 16. I mean, verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer.
Chedorlaomer.
You know
what I'm saying? So he slaughtered them. What does slaughter mean? You understand? He bled them dry. I don't know if you ever, I mean, if you ever gone to a Passover, you didn't go on to the slaughter of the lambs. You know what I'm saying? To slaughter an animal means to utterly kill and drain them of blood and life. He destroyed all of Chedorlaomer's forces and his Confederate armies. He murked the armies of 4 kings to get his nephew back. Keep reading.
And of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale.
All right, you know what I'm saying? So the moral of this story, right? Because we about to get into the next part. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be kind of heavy to cover. Oh, it's 8:04. It's time anyway, right? But the moral of this story is, right? There's always a chosen, right? And there's always a servant. Always, right? But what you don't understand is the chosen is the biggest servant, right? Because the Lord told Abram that the nations will be blessed for his seed's sake, right? The scripture says that the world is in mourning when the righteous isn't in rulership. So when the righteous is in rulership, the world will rejoice. The world will be blessed for our sakes. The nations will be blessed for our sakes because we are righteous rulers. The world is in mourning right now because the wicked are in rulership, right? But those that are wicked in rulership are really supposed to be these servants, the servant class, right? When you choose to operate outside of your design, chaos will ensue. There is something in this earth that operates outside of its design and causes chaos and death. You know what that is? It's called a cancer cell. A cancer cell is a rogue cell that operates outside of its design. And it converts other cells to doing and going outside of its design. So the cancer cells grow and grow and get bigger and get bigger and get bigger to the point to where either the cancer cell has to die or the host dies. You understand? So Chedorlaomer is a cancer cell. You going through the land of Shem like you was given rulership. You wasn't. I was. And you were trying to take it by force. And it wasn't ordained for you to do that. You understand? The Lord said that he was going to make Abram a great nation and that he would bless him. And he would bless those that bless him, i.e., the 318 men that rode with him that were his servants, they were blessed. You understand? Because they rode with the righteous. When the righteous in rulership, there's nothing to fear. Oh, shoot. Boss said we're going to have to go lay down the law real quick. I mean, baby, I'll be home before dinner. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go out here and slaughter these boys real quick. I'll be back. Don't even have a care in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that you're going to be protected because of the man that you serve and who that man serves. Right? I blindly serve Captain Yatazak because I know Captain Yatazak serves Captain Kahan. I know Captain Kahan serves the generals. And I know the generals serve Commanding General YAHANNA. I know Commanding General YAHANNA serves Christ. So I follow orders. When I'm told to do something, I do it. Because the moment that I step outside of line, everything that was given to me by the Lord will take it away. I fear the Lord. because the Lord stripped me of everything from the world and gave me everything that was his. So I do everything within my power to keep that which he is giving me righteously, and I will fight for it. You bet your bottom line. Ain't nobody just coming in this house and treating it any kind of way, because I remember when this house was an apartment with 7 brothers crammed in it, reading the word every day. And we went from there to a house in a garage that smelled like dog crap, having to sweep up dog poop and having class in a garage in the middle of the Texas heat for 2 years straight. 3 years, 2 years straight. Then we got this building out. You understand? So I treat this building like it's my house. I don't let nobody come in my house and just treat it any kind of way. And any brother that comes in this house and makes a sacrifice that I've made for this house, I'll put my life on the line for that brother. If that brother calls me and he is in need and he's stranded, I'm going to be there. If someone is trying to put up a strong defense against my brother, I'm going to come and defend him. You don't believe me? Ask those 10,000 Haitians that was on the Rio Grande River in Mexico. They know. Ask them about Captain Yatazat. All the Mexicans in Pedro's Negro, they know about the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? In Acuña, Mexico, they know about the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And shout out to Officer Yashikar, who's doing an excellent job with I.S.U.P.K Mexico. You understand? Under the camp leader, Officer Kanak out there in the Rio Grande Valley. They doing an excellent job. But those brothers are putting their life on the line for their brothers and for their sisters. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you living your life? What are you living your life for yourself? If you're not living for something greater than yourself, it's a wasted life. It's for nothing. It's futile. Who are you? You're wasted time and wasted skin. That time can be better served to someone that put their life on the line for their brother or their sister and they lost their life. You understand? Someone like Elijah, someone like Elisha, someone like Obadiah, Samson, Nehemiah, Joshua. You understand? Gideon, Mattathias. You know what I'm saying? Judas Maccabeus. You know what I'm saying? John. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? That life could be used for somebody like Joseph. That because of him deciding to be righteous, when his brothers treated him wickedly, the nation of Israel is still alive today. Because of him, the entire nation of Israel was saved. So don't say, who am I? I'm just one man. What can I do? Moses was one man. Elijah was one man. Obadiah was one man. Daniel was one man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joshua was one man. Adam was one man. Noah was one man. What are you saying? I don't understand. Christ was one man. I don't get it. Job was one man. I don't get it. Help me understand. The greater is always served because of the minority. The civil rights movement was 2% of the African American community. 2%. And of that 2%, they were college kids. People that varied from the age of 18 to 27 that dared to make a change. I mean, it was a zeal that wasn't according to knowledge, but the 2% for the 98. What is that? What is it? I don't understand. You make a change, people see that the change that you made work, someone's going to try what you did. If they're successful, that's 2 people. 2 people, get 2 people, that's 4 people. You do the math. You keep doing the work, you get a nation. As Commanding General YAHANNA, he was left by himself. And the latter house is greater than the former. But it takes you to sacrifice your life. You have to be willing to sacrifice your life. That's all that matters. That's how the Lord knows that you love him. That's how your brothers know that you love them. You sacrifice your life, your luxury for someone else to be blessed. Because the Father says, what you do privately, your Father will reward you publicly. You want to know why a brother just shot up in rank? It's because he was doing the work. The days that you weren't here, he was here. The time that you weren't putting in, he was putting it in. But he wasn't boasting and bragging about it. Every time a high-ranking officer called him, he picked up the phone. A great example of that is Officer of 1,000 Yeshaya. That brother texts me religiously every block. Sir, is there anything that needs to be done this week? Do you need anything from me this week? He doesn't wait for me to call. He goes looking for the work. He texts every high-ranking man that message. Salaki, sir, is there any work that needs to be done this week? Whether I have it or not. He's like, the water, sir. Well, let me know if there is. I'm available. He's putting his life on the line so his family can be blessed. That's what Abram did. That's what Noah did. Noah was a man that stood alone by himself, the only righteous man that was on the earth. And because of him, we have the war that we're reading about today between the house of Ham and the house of Shem. Japheth, he just go in between. Even today, this is a family matter. What will you sacrifice your life for? That will determine and deem the type of man that you are and the type of man that you will be. And if you are worthy of a blessing, if you are worthy of praise, because currently right now, all we deserve to do is to die. That's it. That's all you deserve is death. Because the scripture says, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. You ain't dead and Christ ain't here yet. So what we talking about? Football? BET Awards? Wakanda forever? What are we talking about? I got niggas under the 45 bridge. You know what I'm saying? I got my essays being pushed out and gentrified out of Pasadena. You know what I'm saying? Like what we talking about right now? I got people that's leaving from Puerto Rico to get to the border because of the hurricane that destroyed their homes. What we talking about right now? House of Dragons? What? What are we talking about? The Rockets? The Mets? What? None of that is important. The crazy thing is, I'm not even entertained by entertainment anymore. Like, I'm an ex-athlete. I don't watch football. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch baseball. I used to be able to run down every player, every game. I would stay up I would wake up early at 6 a.m. on Saturday for all the pregame reports for the NCAA for football and basketball. And the same thing on Sunday. Running the fantasy league, all that. That doesn't matter to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? It must be nice. But with that, all right. Where's the all right. Majin means to stand. All right, Sar, turn and face the east. We're gonna do the Lord's Prayer. First in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shankar. Yahweh. Malawakah. Taba'ah. Ratazayakah. Hayah. Aisha. Baratazah. Kawa. Hayah. Bashemayim. Nathalanawa. Lacham. Call. Yawam. Wasalachnawa. Kabawatnawa. Kasalachnawa. Kabawathinawa. Wala'ah. Tabi'aynawa. Banasai 1. Abal. Hawashaynawa. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Lakab. Hamalakwat. Wahala. Wahata Parat. La'awalumium. Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn your face in front. Go give a courtesy salute to the brothers and to the sisters. Bit of Israel. Mighty Shabbat. Maju. Rock. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatah. Yadabitah. Sar, turn your face to sisters. Bit of Israel. Mighty Shabbat. Maju. Rock. Yahweh Shema Hashem Yahushua. Yadabitah. Dismiss.